Marco Island. This is the Good Morning Marco podcast, Marco Island's first, best, and only podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Sullivan.
And I'm Jordan Crayley.
And today we have two wonderful guests.
Rusty Russell.
And Joseph Roberts.
All right, we have Rusty and Joseph from Mighty Fine Roofing with us today. But before we get into all of that, for this very special Father's Day episode of Good Morning Marco, let's hear a quick word from this episode's sponsor. This episode of Good Morning Marco is brought to you by Tyler Buchan of the Golf Group. Located right here on Marco Island, they're your go-to experts for luxury living on Marco Island and beyond. Whether you're looking for a waterfront home with golf access, a condo with stunning beach views, or a private retreat down on Hideaway Beach, Tyler and his team will guide you to your home. Visit thegolfgroup.com to start your search today, or call 239-420-1099. Once again, that number is 239-420-1099. Go to thegolfgroup.com to find out more. Thank you so much to Tyler and his team for sponsoring this episode of Good Morning Marco. With that being said, I'm really excited to get into this today because for a little bit peek behind the curtain, how I got in contact with you guys is we were on our way to record our episode with MK for the Cycle Bar, which that, as of recording, this hasn't come out yet. And I stopped at the Bean to go get coffee, and I just happened to mention to Tristan Ashby that it's like, oh, hey, we're looking for a father and son business to do for Father's Day. And then he calls me about 2 or 3 days later. He's like, I have a father-in-law and son-in-law owned business. Yeah. So just for me to set it up for the listeners at home, would y'all give a little bit of an elevator pitch as to exactly who you are and what this company is?
Sure. I'll start. Mighty Fine Roofing is a company that we started with my daughter and Joseph in mind. My wife and I had successful businesses in the past, which we sold and were sort of retired. Ava and Joseph met, didn't want to stay in college, wanted to get married and start a family. And basically Joseph said he'd like to have his own business, sort of like what my wife and I have had over the years. So we agreed to go ahead and help him get set up and get started. And that's kind of how the idea of Mighty Fine was born.
All right. So how long has Mighty Fine Roofing been open then?
About 3.5 years.
Yeah, okay, so fairly recent. Now, when
they got married young.
Yeah, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
That's the goal.
Got two babies already. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, congratulations.
They're moving.
At 22, that is phenomenal. I salute you, sir.
Thank you.
So, now, how did you get into from your perspective? How did you get into the mix of all this? When did you sort of decide it's like I think that this would be a good path for opening up Mighty Fine Roofing?
Well, I worked on roofs in the past, and I was going to college after high school, and I met Rusty's daughter. Well, I originally met her in high school, and we had one class together. And then after high school, she went to Baylor, and I went to the University of Dallas. And she kind of reached out, and then we started talking, and we went on a Valentine's Day date.
Phenomenal.
And we kind of decided we kind of wanted to get married. Kind of from there, so we dated, and then we got engaged pretty fast, and then got married 6 months later.
Well, congratulations.
And,
so how long was it from first date till wedding? Do you know?
Same year, so February to November.
That's 4th. The way to do it. That's
awesome.
So
cool. So now, this usually I would save this to a little bit of more towards the end of the podcast. Once we've got a bit more into the business side of things, but we're already on the subject. What was your first impression of your
Joseph?
Yeah.
When I met him? I think we were in my wife and I were in a hotel in Dallas, I think with Ava, and you came to visit, or you guys came to, I can't remember exactly how it happened, but originally I talked to him on the telephone.
Right.
And he was very well spoken. He was very polite. He seemed like a very nice young man. And then I met him in person, and he matched up perfectly with what I kind of thought Ava would choose in a person. I couldn't design a better son-in-law if I had to start from scratch. I just could put it together. I mean, he's really great.
There you go. That's cool. Well, I'm glad that we got two people who actually like each other on the podcast. That would suck if it's like, no, I hate this guy. Actually, it's like, I can't believe that my daughter chose this. So, good for that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of design, I mean, for everybody wondering about Mighty Fine Roofing and why you guys would be the correct choice for them, how do you guys kind of assist people figuring out what they would need for their roof?
What they would need for their roof. Well, most people call us have an idea of what kind of roof they want. Either they call us with a problem, my roof's old, it's leaking, my insurance company won't cover me anymore, or I just bought this house and I want to upgrade and put on a fancier roof, a nicer roof, a metal roof, whatever. Most people kind of have a reason they're calling us. So I think we're very accommodating. If somebody says, I want a gray tile roof, I'll say a gray tile roof will work. Let's do it. And so I tend to give people what they want. And I think our company comes across as more accommodating and more trustworthy than maybe some of the other roofers. We are building a business. We're building Mighty Fine more as a family business that should last the long, Joseph's whole career. That's what we want. And to do that, you just have to slow down, take care of each customer, address all of the concerns and worries that each customer has. Each customer is totally different. Some people are all about price, and then they're going to leave town. They don't care what happens after that. Some people are worried about nails in their yard because they walk their dog in the grass every day. So you just got to find out kind of what each customer, what their concerns are, and address them specifically. You want to add to that, Joseph?
Yeah, we have a big focus on communication.
Right.
Like, we don't, like, some people are like, okay, when are you going to drop off the materials? Are you going to tell us? Yeah, we communicate all that. Because that's one thing you don't want to wake up to is people loading your roof with stuff. And you're like, no one told me this was going to happen.
7 in the morning, you just hear, what?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
they don't knock. They don't knock. They just throw it on your roof.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what
I was saying that was them nailing in shingles, but that was my impression I was doing. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's
It was
not.
a dumb bit. I'm sorry.
Well, they're dropping big bundles and stuff,
Yeah.
so it's loud. But yeah, that's one of the
Going off.
that's one of the big things we kind of focus on is communicating with the customer so they know what's going on and they're well informed.
Yeah.
That way, it's not there's no surprises or anything, nothing like to make them upset or anything.
Okay.
So that's one of our big focuses, communication.
Cool. So, how large is your team? Is it just the two of you, or do you have like a couple of people working for you?
Well, our core administrative team is my wife, myself, Joseph, and Ava.
Cool.
Yeah, so we do everything from answering the phones to setting appointments. All of our accounting, everything is done in-house. Our labor crews are separate from that group. We have separate insurance and companies, small groups that we treat like a little company.
Okay.
That actually does a lot of the labor for us. Our primary supplier is ABC Supply. Really, really great company. Very courteous when it comes to loading roofs and communicative with the customers. So they're a good company. That's really our preferred vendor for everything.
Yeah.
How's the workload split then between the two of y'all?
So I usually do I do most of the permitting paperwork, so I apply for most of the permits. It takes a while to get used to, and there's some weird questions you have to call about, but once you get the general information and flow of things, it generally goes pretty fast, unless there's like a special circumstance or something that you have to do.
Right.
But generally it's pretty easy. And usually I do the leak inspections, attic stuff, where it's a little harder for you because you're taller and
I don't like
older.
getting attics.
No.
Leave that for 20-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But generally that's kind of how it splits up. But usually we kind of split estimates and stuff about the same. You do more of the computer marketing side though.
Yeah, I do the website building, marketing. I do a lot of the follow-ups after Joseph's made site visits. So Joseph will make a site visit, figure out what's going on with the roof. If it's a repair, he usually just go ahead. He can go ahead and take care of the estimate and schedule the guys and do the whole thing, and I never have to deal with it.
There you go.
So as time goes on, Joseph has been picking up more and more of this side. He's got the administrative permitting side, and he does the scheduling of inspections and all that. But he's also picking up a lot of. Right now, he's doing all of the repair estimates and some of the new roof estimates. And as time goes on, I imagine he'll be doing all of the new roof. And the goal is we'll always be involved, my wife and myself, but we'd like to fade back as time goes on and let him fill in that gap.
Cool.
Him and Ava. So eventually it'll be their company.
Yeah.
And we want them to grow into it slow. I've built companies in the past. It takes years. It takes time. And as people mature, they figure it out. You know, he's very mature already. When he's 30, he's going to be dangerous. But I think that as far as the workload goes, we just kind of decide as they come in who takes what, which way we go.
Yeah.
So, for someone like me who might not know quite all the options for a roof or the difference in all of the options, is there any kind that you would specifically recommend for during like hurricane season or just to keep the house a little cooler?
Sure. So, wind damage is always a big issue in South Florida. Windstorms are common, and if that's your main concern, then we'd start talking about metal roofs. Metal roofs have the highest wind speed rating of any roof we can put on. Second to that would be tile roofs and then shingle roofs. They're all different budgets and different looks. So depending on the look, the architecture of your house, what fits with your house, what your budget is like, we can recommend different things and educate you as the customer on each individual product and help you make the best decision. It's your decision as our customer, but we feel like once we give you all the information, you can make an educated decision.
I mean, wind damage is definitely more of for sure shingles take a lot more wind damage, but they're also the most affordable option.
Right.
But metal and tile usually generally hold up better compared to that. But there's not really a lot of hail here, so
Yeah.
And we do have shingles now that are wind resistant up to 160 miles an hour,
wow.
which is what the Ashbys put on their home. It's and that's new. That's newer to the market.
Yeah.
In years past, 5 years ago, it was like 100-mile-an-hour shingle was it.
No, I got my roof redone right after Irma because we had a tree go through it.
Yeah.
So not entirely through it, but made
Some damage.
made a little dent. So, do you have a project on Marco that you're especially proud of?
The biggest kind of nicest roof we've done on Marco is at 986 Sundrop Court. It's out on the point over here on the north side of the island. It's out on a really nice lot. It's like a $10 million house, and we did we tore off a metal roof and put on a really nice tile roof. And that was our biggest project to date, right, on Marco. And it's not big for commercial, but it's a big roof for residential. Other roofers on the island told him he couldn't do what he wanted to do. I told him we could. So we got the job.
Right.
That's awesome.
And we did it, and he's happy. He wrote, the customer wrote an online recommendation for us and posted it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Especially when it's a customer that you're really, really proud of how the work that you did. It's like, I'm going to talk about this for days.
Yeah. And he tells everybody about us. He's really great, and he told us after the fact, after the job was done and he was happy, why he chose us. And he said, really, because like I started by telling you guys, we were the most accommodating. Other people were like trying to sell him whatever they wanted to sell.
Right.
They had their thing that
They
they're
got
pushing.
their own agenda.
Yeah, they got their thing they're pushing, and Rusty shows up and says, "Sure, we'll do what you want." So that was a big one. We've done several since, but that's the biggest one to date.
What do you mostly specialize in? Mostly just residential, or do you do commercial roofing as well?
We do commercial as well. We've got a few commercial projects going currently. So on the commercial side, it could be metal, it could be shingle, it could be tile, or flat roofs. And flat roofs, we talk about TPO, rubberized roofing, modified bitumen, which is more of an asphalt-based flat roof. We do all of those. So we kind of cover all the bases. We look more like a residential roof company, probably by our marketing and our websites and stuff. But but when you talk about the difference between residential and commercial, there's not a lot of difference in the actual building of the roof.
Yeah.
So roofs are pretty much a roof, whether it's over a commercial building or a home.
Yeah, it's probably just a little bit easier to do a flat roof.
It's different.
Depends.
It's just different. So flat roofs. So a pitch on a roof is your best friend as a roofer.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the more pitch, the faster the water goes and gets off the roof, which is what you want.
I understand that.
So when it comes to flat roof, it's never exactly flat because there has to be some slope
It's a
to
112.
drainage.
It's like a one pitch, which is minimal.
So it looks flat from the eye, but there's usually a little slope to
It
it.
has to be because the water has to leave somehow.
And when it comes to those, it really matters. Depending on makes our job easier is if what's underneath the decking.
Right.
So like for residential, most roofs have it's plywood decking, so it's generally the same. But on commercials, it could be steel or concrete, or wood. There's it varies a lot, and that's what really matters when it comes to commercial.
Figuring out how it's built, what's under there, and what the correct application is to keep it the driest. Yeah,
Cool.
The whole goal is no leaks.
Yeah. I'd say that's probably a pretty good goal to have as a roofing company. So then, moving, is there anything else that you want to say specifically about the roofing side of the business before we get into a little bit of how you guys work together?
Do you have anything you want to add to that?
The roofing side of the business.
Anything you want to advertise, you've got the platform and you can say it right now. If there's anything that you want to cut as an Instagram reel so you can say, well, we've got this roof.
I mean, like I said, we handle 5 or 6 different types of roofing, and we're not really partial to one or the other. I mean, it just depends on whatever the need is what we want to go after.
Cool.
So if people, up towards Naples get all the shingles ripped off, we'll lean towards shingles. We'll get up there and start selling shingle roofs. Marco has a good mix of everything.
Yeah.
Probably 30, maybe a little heavier on the tile.
I think metal's
But-
definitely newer.
Metal's coming around. Metal's becoming the
I haven't
choice.
seen as many metal roofs on Marco, but maybe I just haven't been paying close enough attention.
Yeah.
A lot of
After
them-
this interview, you will.
Okay, I will, it'll be just like every time you say it's like that's just a new mattress store in here. Ever notice how many mattress
Now
stores
they're
there are?
everywhere.
It's like no, then it's like and now you see there's 40. But,
Yeah, but I would say metal is taking over some of the shingle market share. I mean, some of the tile market share.
okay.
So, and we have a really, really, really top shelf metal crew. So we really like metal calls.
Yeah.
I mean, we have all of our crews are fantastic, but the metal I think is the way to go. If you went down to a Caribbean island, for example, and looked at all the roofs, 99% will be metal.
Yeah.
Why? Because they get
They're
hit
getting
every
walloped.
year.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
year. It's not one every 10 or 20 years. It's every year.
I think this is a great episode to have right before hurricane season is starting. So.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to stay in everybody's minds with this one beforehand.
Yeah.
So guys, whenever whatever named storm comes around, you know who to call.
Yeah. If I could choose one roof for Marco, it'd be metal. I think that's the best. And a lot of the big, nice new houses you see going up are metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think a lot of the builders are coming around to that, and the architects as well.
Cool.
As kind of a little transitional question, I guess, did either of you have to overcome a fear of heights to do roofing?
Oh.
I didn't have a fear of heights.
It wasn't really a fear of heights.
I don't like
it was
leaning over
more
the
of-
edge too much.
Yeah, it's more of that. It's more of
Fear of falling.
it's more of where you stand and what part of the roof you are.
Right.
So like sometimes you'll be 2 stories up, but there's roof to the left of you.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you go to the other side of whatever, the other side, it could be straight drop down.
Yeah.
And so it's a little. You're like, I prefer this side to that side.
And
But that's about it.
yeah, I think when you're on a 3-story house, also it is more scary than a 1-story. It could be the same pitch, same type of roof, same exact roof, but if you're 3 stories up, you're going to be more concerned about falling. That's just human nature. But I didn't have a particular fear of heights, and I don't think you did.
No, not really.
So now moving a little bit into like the family side of things, family dinners. Do they ever turn into impromptu business meetings, or do you have like a hard like we're not talking about business right now, or is it kind of just like a steady subject that just flows around?
Sometimes I think about that like more like to myself. I'm like, bring this up maybe like after, or,
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll be like, oh, do you remember this? Like, what happened with that?
Mm-hmm.
But not really. Sometimes we do talk about it, but not all the time.
We don't really have a rule about it, but per se, but it doesn't come up that much at dinner.
It's usually certain like little things like during the day.
Yeah, like, did you remember to do this today?
Yeah. Nothing too deep. Yeah. Do y'all ever have like disagreements where it's just like there's a kind of a different dynamic there with like that's your wife's dad and it's just like, okay, I don't know if there's like a dynamic there where there's like if there's a disagreement, I guess who's kind of like the buck stops with them. Maybe. Is that what I'm trying to ask? I don't know if that's what I'm trying to ask.
I think this is a question for you.
Yeah. Who kind of has the final say, and like, what do you do when you do have a disagreement on something?
Disagreement on something? There's not really. We don't really disagree on too much. I mean, I guess he would have the final say at the end of it because he is, the wiser one.
The businessman.
When it comes to it, I mean, it is just, it's age.
I've done a lot of it.
Yeah, with age comes authority. With experience, comes authority. So on the subject, so
it's a very smart answer.
I mean, it's just true. That's like the one thing when especially on Marco. It's if you talk to these older folks, there's so much for them to just talk about because they've lived whole lives. I just talked to my wife about this the other day. They have their whole lives, and it's a whole life story that they could talk to you about, and you can ask them questions. It's they all had one person did this and one person had that, different experiences, different specialities. It's very interesting. So,
and I also to the initial question, I think that our relationship within the business is structured so that I'm sort of the teacher.
Yeah.
And he's sort of the student, and as he learns and becomes a better student, he has the right answer. Yeah. So he doesn't even need to check with me on stuff. He just makes the decisions. But if it's something that he's not sure about, he always calls and checks with me or sends me pictures. What do you think about this? What would you do with that? So I think that.
It's more discussions we have.
Yeah,
like, well, what do you think about doing this? And then we'll be like, well, if you think this is better, then you could just go ahead. And I'm like, but what about... You sure? And I'm like, yeah.
And a lot of times, since I'm trying to promote that side of Joseph's, growth, I just tell him, you make the decision.
Right.
And I'll back him up on it. I'm not going to let him make a bad decision.
Right.
But I kind of just throw the ball back in his court and let him run with it.
Cool.
So, yeah, there's not really any disagreements per se or arguments about anything.
Well, then, I guess on the complete opposite side of that, what's your favorite thing about working with each other?
What would you say? More like it's almost like a freedom, I would say. It's less of like a boss relationship, It's more like, what would you say? It's kind of a hard word to describe.
Well, I mean, so Joseph, having not really had a career where he had to work for somebody for 20 years and then start his own business, doesn't really understand what it's like to work for somebody. He's essentially self-employed now.
Yeah.
And I've always been self-employed, so I don't know that side of it. I don't know what it's like to have a job, but
Right.
But I think I think Joseph and myself enjoy, like he said, freedom. So I can take off out of town for a week and leave, and Joseph is in charge. My past businesses, I didn't have a partner per se.
Right.
We're like partners. We are partners, not like partners. We are partners. But and in the past, if I left a manager or somebody, an employee in charge, and it was very stressful. And in this case, it's not. It's not because he's there. He's 100%. And on the flip side, he could go out of town, and I got it covered. Mm-hmm. So I think that the freedom is a good word to describe our, the benefits of it being partners.
Fully understand that. I'm in a leadership position in my main day job, and it is so difficult for me to leave.
Yep.
Just because it takes about 4 people to replace me properly at the moment. Right. So if one of those people aren't there, then it's all going to fall apart. So without I just think it's funny. One person can be so much. So that's great that y'all have that. How everything works. And I remember at my job a little while ago. This was right when we first. I work at Faith Church right off the island. So right when we opened, one of the pastors said to one of the guys, it's like, I need you to have a general working knowledge of every single thing in this building, just so that if at any point you can sort of fill in and it's something like that where you have a full working knowledge with it. That's right. Valuable. That's valuable.
It is always nice to work with family. I mean, I used to do closets with my dad over at Economy Closets. And I mean, just kind of learning the ropes of everything is an experience, and I feel like you guys get to bond on a completely different level than most people would think that you can. Everybody has this stigma, I guess, that working with family, you're just gonna hate them. But with most people that I've met and most people that we've talked to, it is not the case. Everybody just feels way closer together and appreciates each other on a different level, which is nice to see.
Right. Yep.
Whose idea was it initially to start family business? Was it one of y'all's, or was one of your wives?
Well, I think it was mostly your idea, right? Because you just sold a business and you wanted to start something new, right?
Well, but if you remember when you told me that you would rather get married than stay in college, you said you'd like to start a business. So I think it was mostly, in my mind, it's mostly Joseph's idea, and I was like, sure, let's do it. I've done that lots of times, so I was okay with that. And then I asked, where do you guys want to live?
Yeah,
because we lived in Texas at the time, and we had a second home in Naples, and they said we like Naples.
Oh yeah.
So I said, well, let's go. Because I didn't want to stay in Austin. I'd already sold my businesses. I had non-competes and didn't want to mess with. I wanted to get out of Austin.
Yeah.
We had. Anyway, so they chose Naples. So I said, well, let's go to Naples. Let's do something. Yeah. Let's do roofing.
Yeah.
So we've been in construction for
lucrative business down here. So
yeah. We looked at that and on that side of it, and we'd been in construction forever. We'd built custom homes. I'd owned custom home building businesses and didn't want to do that anymore. Right. Just didn't want to do that. And so we chose, I guess, what we felt like was one of the more profitable niches from the construction industry, and focused on that. And we thought we could build a nice roofing business that just focuses on roofing and doesn't do framing and foundations and electrical, and we are responsible for the whole house. We're just on the roof. So I think that's really how it came about. Yeah. But I kind of thought it was your idea.
That's funny. Both think so then, since we do know one thing, it was your idea to move to Naples, what made you choose Southwest Florida?
There were a lot of things. I mean, We traveled here, I guess, a couple times with it was like
When did y'all first start traveling here?
well,
During COVID.
yeah.
Early
Okay.
in COVID.
So only about 5 years ago.
Well, you had a condo in Naples that you
Right.
sold, and you had a house on Marco,
Yeah.
and we would stay in Marco, and it was just a way different life, you know.
Right.
Where I grew up in Texas, it was 4 hours from the beach. You know, it's so different. You know, everything was far. You know, and as things kept getting bigger. It just was.
Texas is big.
Yeah.
And everything is far, like you said, so you got to drive.
Yeah.
One of the other places we considered was Dallas, but you got to live in a big city and it's concrete jungle.
Now
It's just-
I have friends in Longview. Well, the Tristan's brother lives in Longview.
Right.
And I mean, it's nice to visit, but I could not imagine living there. I mean, the only thing that's nice is you've got the woods right there, but
Longview,
otherwise,
yeah.
it's not
Well,
all
just-
that great.
It's just funny because when we moved here, because we were driving like 3 hours a day on the road just to go to like North Austin and back.
Right.
And that was like our whole day, just driving. And we moved here, and it's like a 20-minute drive everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I started complaining about that. My wife's like, "Why are you complaining about driving? You used to drive an hour and a half, 3 hours every day." And
Now,
I'm like,
now you get spoiled
Yeah.
after you get down here. Because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
used to just long commutes, 28 miles taking an hour and a half, you know, in Texas. And, you know, about Dallas, I think Dallas would have been an easier town to build a big business in. It's a big business town, but I think the choice to come here was more about quality of life
Yeah.
rather than just money, just you know, success on the business side. And I think we have to measure success in Southwest Florida as far as business goes as we're just able to survive and be here and be happy and take care of our customers. And it's not about the bottom line always. You know, it's really about just being where you want to be. And him being able to raise his children in a beautiful spot. You know, both of those, my grandkids are born in Naples, and I imagine they're going to be born and raised forever in Naples.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to be here at least till they get out of high school. Let's put it that way. And it's a beautiful place to grow up. And we hope they move. He lives in Naples. I live in Marco. We hope they move to Marco one of these days.
Yeah.
We'd like to see him here on the island.
Well, if you're looking for somewhere, I know exactly someone who could help you with that.
Yeah.
New listing just opened in South Seas Tower.
go. There you go.
So you can call Tyler Bucking at 239-420-1099.
Show sponsor.
Yeah. So, no, that's cool. What's been favorite part about Marco so far?
You know, I work out at Get Cat Fit boot camp over here, and I've gotten to meet a lot of local people through the boot camp, and really just getting to know the community. That's my favorite part, honestly. The business community is interesting. Like I said, I've owned businesses before that dealt business to business type businesses, so I'm used to talking to business owners, and the people here are really above average business owners, I would say.
Oh yeah, no, it's especially interesting because you get a lot of course, it's not a retirement community, but there's a lot of retirees.
Sure.
And there's a lot of money running through here, so you get a lot of ex-CEOs. I know the former owner of Stanley Steamer lives on the island. There's a lot of guys who were running multi-million-dollar companies that just were like, I'm retiring and I'm going to go live in the Marco Island Estates. So it's that's been something cool too, is getting to know more business owners around here, because we get all walks really. So it's been very interesting. I love it here so much. I've had the privilege of living here my entire life. So
Right, and to that comment, I would say the average homeowner on Marco, when they have any issue, whatever the problem is, whether it's roofing or seawalls, they take care of it.
yeah,
You know, they're just going to take care of it, and luckily, most of them have the wherewithal to take care of it. Whereas in Texas, you might get a call from somebody, or up in Florida, up towards Tampa, you might get a call where you show up and they would like to do that repair, but they just don't have the money.
Yeah.
And that you just don't run into that a lot on Marco.
Yeah, you have people have means.
Yeah.
So it's I maybe in that sense it's a lot easier to run a business around here because you've got maybe in Dallas you weren't going to have as many. It's like, oh, we'll think about it. And
Or if insurance isn't paying,
It's more
for
insurance
it,
jobs.
yeah, they can't do it.
Yeah. Insurance down here is getting insane every hurricane we get. But,
Yeah, Texas is a lot more insurance jobs because people don't really want to pay.
Roofing that we did in
mostly-
Texas was mostly insurance, and we're so glad to be away from that.
yeah.
Don't want to talk to insurance companies, and here we don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, you kind of got great food all over the island too. Food. I mean, and even in Naples, there and here, it's great food. You got the Smith House up here. You got the Italian deli.
Oh yeah.
In the middle of the island.
Italian Deli won our we tried every pizza on Marco Island.
Isn't it great?
Well, I think they only lost the Naples one
lost
to
Collier
Lowbrow,
County
right?
one. They lost to Lowbrow by one.
By one.
I think that the
didn't know
fact
that.
that Dave Portnoy went to Lowbrow is what kind of like
Oh,
sealed
really?
the deal for
Okay.
that. Because Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports, who does
Yeah.
the invite thing, he went to Lowbrow and gave him like a really high score. So
Really?
I think even people who hadn't tried Lowbrow might have just voted for Lowbrow just because. So I don't know. That's my opinion. We're gonna have Italian Deli on the podcast one of these days soon. Whenever Jared gets back into town, so he's been in and out constantly.
I want to make a point though, that's to say that Joseph is our license holder, and he was I think he's one of the youngest guys to get a roofing license in Florida when he did that. So he's when we decided to start this business, I'm the one that's going to fade away. Remember, I'm not going to be here a long time. He's the one that's going to run it for as long as he wants. So I said, Joseph, you're going to get the license, and I'll structure the business. So I wanted to give him props for that.
How old were you when you got the license?
19.
Here it was 1920.
Yeah, something like that. You have to be 18. And he was just above the.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah.
Congratulations on getting all that.
Thank
it's
you.
not an easy test.
Oh no.
No.
It's the second hardest contractor test
How
in the
long
state.
It was what 8 hours, 8-hour test. I think it's like
Three different tests.
no, it's two
Well, you
two
had-
different tests. It's the business and finance, and it's the roofing.
Oh, right.
And then
the contracting was the third.
Your Mrs. Russell did the building.
So my wife took the GC license test,
Okay.
and that's 3 different ones. So we also have the general contracting license. If we need to do something outside of roofing, we can. But pretty much just stick to roofing.
So before we finish off the episode today, because we're rapidly running out of time, do you want to introduce the next segment? Because
Rapid fire questions. I'm just gonna ask our notorious
just
question.
go ahead. Yeah.
Do you guys prefer coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee. Good. And we get a lot of people that do not even drink coffee on this podcast, and
Really?
it surprises me greatly. I just remembered I have a coffee in the car. It's probably a little bit warm now. That's okay. My Grande Nitro cold brew from Starbucks.
I mean, it's not from the bean.
Oh.
I was going to stop at the bean, but
It's
when I
not from
did the
Kava
math,
culture.
no, it's not. When I did the math, I went up to Naples to go get one of the cameras and the batteries for the board and everything and the microphones, and I was like, if I go to the bean, then I will be rocking up at 1:02. And that would make me late, and I'm not going to do that. So I just decided against it today. But I'm very excited that they're open until 9 tonight. So I will probably.
Really?
They just changed their summer hours. This isn't sponsored by the Bean, but the Bean just changed their hours. Monday through Thursday they are open 7 a.m. to 2, and then Friday and Saturday they are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then of course closed on Sundays, much like the mighty Chick-fil-A. Not sponsored by the Bean. This is just I like their coffee.
Or
Number 7,
Chick-fil-A.
number 1, number 4, number 2, number 5, number 3. We tried every coffee on Marco Island, and that is my ranking. Number 7, number 1, number 4, number 2, number 6, number 5.
It's your
number 3.
turn for a rapid fire
Anyway,
question.
Okay. Let's see. I was going to say beach or mountains, but the answer is obvious. It's beach, right? If you're going to say okay, so I'm not going to ask that then. If you could have lunch with any any person living or dead, we'll say like historical figure or celebrity, who would it be?
Nikola Tesla.
Great answer. Phenomenal answer.
I think that's the quickest answer we've had,
That
too.
is also the quickest answer that we've
Hey,
had. Now,
there's-
why? I know why, but for anyone at
Yeah,
home, the unenlightened...
there's a lot of conspiracies about him.
Yeah.
And I would just like to know. I guess I would kind of want to know if those are real or
Conspiracy theories.
infinite energy black boxes and stuff like that.
Okay.
I would like to ask him about. Supposedly in his, I think it was his biography, he talks about him. I guess he talks about dreaming blueprints in his mind,
Yeah.
or just he would have so many like thoughts at once. He'd just be drawing sketches. Like somebody would come in, he'd just draw like perfect things with math and all that.
Tesla and Da Vinci. That would be.
Da Vinci would be interesting too.
Yeah.
Tesla, but there's a lot of secrets about
The
him
only,
and
the only
stuff.
issue with Da Vinci is he does not speak English, so that would probably be. It's like I don't know. What you're
That's
saying.
what I was wondering. Is there translators available?
Yeah.
You know, you'd have to have
As long as it's not a dead language, there's a translator available.
Okay.
So,
So there goes my answer.
okay.
What was he going to say?
Okay, well, let's just say that there is a translator available.
Okay.
You can understand them.
Well, I'd speak to Jesus.
There you go. Okay.
That's my
Well, you
number
can
one
do that anytime.
Yeah. You said have lunch with.
Yeah. No, great answer. Now, who would you say if no translator available, assuming that, the Son of God can't speak English if he wanted to?
I like Tesla's his answer. He would be a super interesting person to sit with. But yeah, Tesla.
Cool.
I'll back up his
I
deal.
don't know if you noticed, but my shirt is
Be not afraid.
really accurate angels. It says "Be not afraid," and it's like the seraphim and all that.
Have you heard the
got this
theory about
amazing
like
shirt.
all angels are different? Have you heard about that? And
Yes, I watch Wendigoon, so I know all the 9 different classifications of angels. I'm
yeah.
really into all that.
Yeah,
I'm into the weird side.
I don't know if I can name all of them. I know a lot.
I might be able to. There's the thrones, the seraphim, the cherubim.
Cherubim, Dominion.
Oh, dominion. Yeah. The
Did you say
principalities and powers.
Or did you say that?
I did say seraphim, and then archangels.
Archangels, yeah. Is that it? Is it 9 or 7?
It might be 7, because 7 is the number of divinity, but it could be 9, because no, there's 9 layers of hell, 7 different types of angels. I might be wrong. I don't know. We're talking above.
But
everything right now. That's just for us. We're locked in. All right.
Did you know any of them?
I do not know.
I did not know either.
Jordan, rapid fire.
Rapid fire. What kind of music do you guys listen to get into the zone?
Ooh, good one.
Which zone?
Like you're on the way to the job, you're in the truck, and what do you listen to? Like dad rock, rap, country music.
Yeah, what's your favorite type of music to listen
I always have jazz on in my truck.
to? Nice. What kind of jazz? Like,
Relaxing, Coltrane, stuff like that.
I've been getting in very much to Charles Mingus recently. So my friend is getting his music degree because I bought him a bass 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago now, and he ever since then he's dove headfirst into like music and all that, and he will not stop talking about.
If you're
Charles
shouting
Mingus.
it out, you might as well shout out his.
It's Wesley, so go see Eachin live in concert anytime. Maybe I'll listen to here if I have time. It's not sponsored, so I have no obligation. Here's a picture that I took of them. Anyway, so let's. What about for you? Are we also on the jazz kick?
No, I'm more of a. Well, I'm more overall the spectrum, but just not really anything weird, but well, I mostly
When you
it's mostly
say I listen to anything, it does
Well-
not include like Mongolian throat
I could-
singing and stuff like that.
no, it's classic rock mostly, like Stairway to Heaven and the Eagles, mostly them, Foreigner. Like that most of the time. Sometimes it's
Stuff I grew up with.
Yes, and
Yeah.
good 70s stuff in there. I'm just a little. I'm in the middle because I'm like mostly Beatles.
Oh, okay.
More than anything else, but of course I love Led Zeppelin. I love the Eagles.
Yeah, they're great.
and all those guys.
I'm also a big grunge fan, I guess. I listen to a lot of, all the grunge stuff.
Yeah,
So
like
that was
Nirvana. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. There we go.
kind of
Oh, it's my turn. Oh,
Chris Cornell.
dang. Yeah. I forgot that it was my turn to say something. Let's see. It's not very rapid fire if I completely lost my train of thought. No, that's not gonna help.
It will.
Let's see. What's your favorite concert you've ever been to?
Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell. Okay, cool.
I've been to one. It
Maybe
was
go
a
one second.
what's the band? It's not, I can't remember the name. Oh man, this is killing me. They sing it's like Bandito. Is that it? No, I think it was
21 Pilots.
Yeah, 21 Pilots.
21
I was saying
Pilots, okay.
21, but I was like, what's the other thing? Yeah,
Yeah,
21
21
Pilots.
Pilots. Oh,
I went
okay,
to
cool.
one. I think it was that album. Is it called Bandito?
It's not called Bandito. I believe
forget.
it was Trench.
Yeah,
The
Trench.
yellow one with the raven on the
Yeah, with the
front.
raven.
That's-
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
Trench. Yeah.
My sister
Yeah.
bought me a ticket.
The moment that we mentioned the 7 different types of angels earlier, I almost knew that it was going to be 21 Pilots and we were going to come up at some point. There just seems to be certain threads.
I like that the album, but my sister bought me a ticket for my birthday. So.
Nice.
So that's been the only the only one I've ever gone to.
Yeah.
It was fun though.
I've just done Luke Combs. I got pit tickets to see Luke Combs. And then I saw Ringo Starr and his all-star band like last September, and for King and Country. And I believe that's it.
Okay.
I haven't heard your answer in a while, so I completely forgot what it was. What's your favorite concert you've ever been to?
I don't remember what my answer used to be. I feel like my answer would be the festival I went to up in Iowa. Just because it was so many people. It was Hinterland. So it was like, there's Noah Kahn, Hosier,
Oh, okay.
all those kinds of people. It was cool. It was interesting. Camped in a little RV and drove all the way up there. Will not do that again.
Oh, okay.
But
All right. Well, we're just about out of time for today. So before we finish off, is there anything else that you guys want to say while you have cameras and audio rolling?
If you have a leak, give us a call.
Yeah. Go ahead and look into that camera over there, the suction cup mount, and tell people where to find you.
Go ahead, Justin.
I mean,
Find us where?
Website, phone number.
You find us at Mighty Fine Roofing Marco or Mighty Fine Roofing of Naples. Our phone number is 239-944-0063. Please give us a call for any problems with the roof.
Pause. It says 6958 right here.
That works too.
That works too.
I'll put both.
So that goes to
This is more Marco Island.
specific.
Yes.
that's Marco Island specific. The only difference is when he gets a call from that number, it just does it like, please click any digit
so I-
to answer this call, so he knows it's from Marco.
So I know it's from Marco. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the main.
It helps us to know which marketing is working to have different
That's a
numbers
good idea.
associated.
Smart. Okay.
if anybody needs marketing.
Oh yeah.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything else that you guys want to mention before we say goodbye?
No,
No, I think that's
I think we're good.
Well,
thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you guys very much for coming on. I thought.
Official friends of the podcast.
Thank you. Almost forgot. I think it's also unique that we did father-in-law, son-in-law, because it's usually a far different dynamic. But it seemed you guys got a handle on things, and I really like the dynamic, and I'm really excited to see in 20 years where Mighty Fine Roofing is, because I plan to still be on the island here, and it sounds like you guys you plan to be as well. So very excited to see where this goes, and I'm glad that we were able to be your first podcast.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks for calling.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Jordan, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at jgcraley03 or Current Creations FL. You can also find me on my website for currentcreationsfl.com if you're looking for marketing, social media managing, etc. And Ryan, where can you find you?
You can find me at my website, ryanmsullivan.com, ryanmsullivan.com, or you can find me directly on Instagram, real Ryan Sullivan, spelled the same way, drop the M. You can also go to my website to find my book, to find links to all my other stuff. We've got the Pickle Jar podcast if you want to go look back in the archives. You can also go directly to goodmorningmarco.com to get everything about this podcast. Make sure that you are subscribing on YouTube. As time of recording, we're at 213 subscribers as well. Go and give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as that really helps us in the algorithm. So go ahead and listen on Spotify, on Apple, everywhere that you can. You can also watch us on Spotify if you haven't already. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on all the other places. And before we say officially goodbye, a very quick message about our sponsor of this episode.
This episode of Good Morning Marco is brought to you by Tyler Buchan of the Golf Group. Located right here on Marco Island, they're your go-to experts for luxury living on Marco Island and beyond. Whether you're looking for a waterfront home with golf access, a condo with stunning beach views, or a private retreat down on Hideaway Beach, Tyler and his team will guide you to your home. Visit thegolfgroup.com to start your search today, or call 239-420-1099. Once again, that number is 239-420-1099. Go to thegolfgroup.com to find out more. Thank you so much to Tyler and his team for sponsoring this episode of Good Morning Marco.
All right, and with that, anything final that you guys want to say before we get going? Any social medias that you have for the company that you want to shout out?
I mean, we have Instagram, Facebook.
Okay. I can put links in the description. It's all good.
All right.
And with that, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean the most, and we will see you all in the next one.